Hi you guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Patience. To my existing subscribers, welcome back. If this is your first time here, be sure to click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can continue to indulge in the Haute Bella experience. I am super excited about today's video because today I am going to be trying out the new I Am Magic foundation from Juvia's place. So I want to do a wear test for this video. So I've got some errands that I've got to run. So I'm going to do a makeup application using the foundation and the concealers. And I'm also going to do a simple eye look using the Nubian 3 Coral palette. So before we get started, I just wanted to say that I also encountered some of the challenges that you have heard probably others here on YouTube talk about when it comes to trying to get your shade match correct for this foundation. And I was anxious, so I wanted to get my hands on this foundation as soon as possible, so I didn't wait for it to come into Ulta for me to go in and actually play around with the shades in store, or to be able to get my shade match right there in store. I tried to do it online. So I'm hoping that I have the right shade. I am going to be using the color or the shade 350 in Somalia. So we're going to see what that foundation shade is going to look like on my skin. I also picked up one of the Magic concealers in the shade number 6. And this is a deeper shade that I am going to use for my contour. When it comes to the Juvia's Place foundations and concealers, it's kind of a mindset change because I'm used to the higher the number, the deeper or darker the shade, whereas with Juvia's Place it's in reverse. You kind of have to get used to that when you're thinking of your potential shade match or thinking of the numbers of which might be your correct shade match in these products. So yeah, so I'm using concealer number 6 for my contour. This looks like this is going to be a really nice contour shade for me. And then for my concealer shade, the first time around when I was purchasing a concealer for my highlight or to do some highlighting with, I purchased the shade 15. And just by looking at the description of this shade online, I thought that it was going to be the right match or the right color match for me. But as you can see, shade 15 is very, very light. So I decided to play around with it just a little bit just to kind of see what it was going to look like on my skin complexion. And again, I asked my husband, take a look at my face and tell me what you see. And he said one thing that made me realize very quickly that I was not going to be able to use this concealer by itself. He looked at my face and he said, that side looks gray. Gray is the wrong term to use when you're talking about concealers on a warm tone or a warm-skinned individual. We do not want the word gray to come out of your mouth when you're trying to describe what you see when you're looking at our face. So I had to go back and I ordered another shade, and this time I ordered the shade 12. So my plan is to mix these two shades together, and hopefully I'll be able to come up with my correct concealing shade match color in this concealer. So we are going to get started. All right, my face has been moisturized and primed. My eyes have been also primed. My eyebrows are done, and I'm going to go ahead and jump into the Nubian 3 eyeshadow palette. I'm going to start off with this shade right here. And I'm going to use this shade right here out of the Nubian 3 Coral palette from Juvia's Place. I'm going to use this as my transition shade. And I'm going to use this shade right here, and I'm going to place that into my crease as well. And now I'm going to go back into my transition shade again, which is this shade right here, just to blend everything together. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this dark shade right here, and I'm going to add that to the outer V. And I'm going to go back into this shade right here just to soften it up a little bit more. And I'm going to use this color right here. This is a beautiful coral shimmery shade. So I didn't use any concealer to carve out my lid or anything like that. So I'm just using this straight out of the pan onto my lid dry. And I'm going to use this shade right here. This is more of a pinky, corally type of shade in this Nubian 3 palette. So I'm going to try using this shade right here just to marry everything together that I currently have on my lid. So my eyes for the most part are done. I'm going to add some liner and lashes. Alright, and now that I've got my liner and my lashes done, I'm going to move into this foundation. So again, this is in the color 350. This is in the shade called Somalia. So this is supposed to be a full coverage foundation, so I'm not going to do any color correcting or anything like that like I would normally do, because normally I would cover up my hyperpigmentation around my mouth and up under my eyes by doing some color correcting, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this foundation here on my mixing palette, take about that much, because they say that you don't need a whole lot. So this is the amount of this foundation that I'm going to use, and I'm going to use my synthetic foundation brush, and I am going to begin applying this on my face. She is definitely full coverage. That hyperpigmentation around my mouth, she is gone bye-bye. And I don't think that the color that I've selected, the Somalia, is too far off from my complexion color. I think that's looking pretty good. Just from that one little pump that you saw on my mixing palette there, that's all I've used. And it has covered my entire face, and it has also covered up the darkness around around my mouth area here. It's covered that up pretty good. It does, however, feel a bit drying on my skin. My skin is normal to dry, but it's not horribly uncomfortable, but it's just something that I notice. All right, foundation is done, and we're going to get into the concealers. So the first shade of concealer that I'm going to use is in the color 12, and this is closer to my actual skin tone. This concealer does have a pretty large doe foot. I'm just going to take a little bit of this concealer and put it in the areas where I would normally conceal. Juvia's Place, the foundation, the I Am Magic foundation, and this concealer might be my new everyday go-to complexion product. On an everyday basis, I don't necessarily want to be extremely highlighted up under my eye area. I do want to conceal any discoloration that I may have, but I may not necessarily want a highlighted type look. So this is okay. We're going to start off here, and then we're going to go in the lighter color concealer that I also have, which is in the shade 15, and I'm going to brighten up this under eye area just a little bit more if I need to, because this is not looking bad at all. Look at that. All right, and I am going to go in with just a little bit of the concealer shade 15, and I'm just going to put just a little bit of that, a little bit of this lighter shade down on top here to see what this looks like. This is pretty. This is really pretty. Go in with my sponge. Just blend it all together. Gorgeous. So I did not purchase the Juvia's Place setting powder, so I'm going to go ahead and use some of the setting powder that I already have on hand to set my under eye area. I'm afraid not to set it because I don't want it to move all over the place, or start to move around all over my face. So I'm going to do all the things that I would normally do. So I definitely would set my face, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to do some contouring. Alright, my under eyes have been set, so I'm going to move on to some contouring. So I'm going to use the contour shade from Juvia's Place, or the concealer shade from Juvia's Place in number 6. And this is looking quite dark, but we're going to make it work. We're going to see what it does. I'm going to take just a little bit of this. And I'm just going to dot this on. So I'm going to go ahead and some down here, get rid of some of that double chin, and then I'm going to take my little brush here, and I'm going to take just a little bit on the tip end of this doe foot, not too much, and ooh, oh boy, oh boy. That's pretty dark. Oh yeah, that's very dark. Oh boy. Okay, I can fix it. You can fix it, Patience. You can fix it. For sure. Okay, we've got to fix this nose before it's too late with my concealer shade which is very close to my skin tone. I'm going to use that same little brush that I used to apply the contour to my nose. I'm going to clean off the darker shade that I have on there. I'm going to use that same brush, but I'm going to go back in with this concealer shade, which is the shade 12, which is close to my complexion. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this off of this doe foot, just a little bit. And I'm just going to take that back down in the areas, or take it right down in the areas where I applied that darker shade on my nose, to lighten that up, because that concealer shade is very deep, or the contour shade I should say, is very deep. So that's okay. We're gonna fix this. This is definitely fixable. So recovery mission is a success. I'm going to use the shade Toby out of the Saharan Blush Volume 1. It's a pretty shade. I'm going to use a little bit of the shade Zara as my highlight. Put a little bit on my nose and on my Cupid's bow. And I'm going to use one of the lip products that I have from Juvia's Place. This is a beautiful orange, kind of burnt orange type of shade. So it is time for our wear test to begin. So I have added a little bit of lip liner and a little bit of the Fenty Gloss Bomb to my lips. And it is 2:23 right now. One of the things I have to do is to get my nails done. If you guys can't tell, these are desperately in need of some help, but I'm gonna go get that done. And also I wanted to mention that it is currently 84 degrees outside, so it's gonna be pretty warm outside. The humidity factor is quite high, so we're going to see exactly how this holds up. So I'm going to come back and check in with you guys. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to run some errands. I'll probably grab a bite to eat. I'm going to wear this foundation and concealer for as long as I possibly can today, and then I'm going to come back and check in with you guys at the end of my day, and I'll have some final thoughts regarding this foundation. So this is the first check-in, and I'll see you guys in a little while. Hey you guys, I am here with a quick check-in, and it is now 6:55 p.m. and I'm about to run out to pick up a quick bite to eat. I wanted to show you guys what I'm looking like so far. So as you can see, right in this area here, which is the area right around my mouth, this is the area where I would normally do color correcting, because the I Am Magic foundation from Juvia's Place is supposed to be a full coverage foundation. I did not do any color correcting because I wanted to see if this area right here was going to start to bleed through. And it is bleeding through just a little bit, but still at a distance, this looks awesome. This looks absolutely beautiful. There is a little bit of separation or creasing that's going on in my under eye area right here. And this is where I have applied the concealer. So I am going to fix this up just a little bit. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I do have dry skin, and I did not necessarily go through the additional prep steps that I would normally go through if I were going to use or wear a truly matte foundation. So I want to be fair in this wear test. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my sponge, the same sponge that I used to apply the foundation and the concealer earlier, and I'm going to tap out some of the creasing that's going on right now. This is a semi-matte foundation. However, it wears in a medium type of way, if that makes sense. And basically what I'm saying is that I can feel it on my skin. It's not heavy, but I can definitely feel that there's something there. But she looks gorgeous. All right, so I have taken care of some of the creasing, and I think I'm going to use a little bit of my setting mist just to moisten her up just a little bit. I haven't touched up my lips at all either, but while I'm here, I'm going to add just a little bit more color to these lips. I'm gonna put it right there in the center like that. I'm gonna grab a bite to eat, and I'm gonna come back for my final check-in with you guys. Hey you guys, I am back with my final check-in of the day. It is 9:02 p.m. and this has been my wear test of the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Foundation, and I am in the color 350, which is Somalia. I also used 3 of the Juvia's Place concealers. I used number 6 for contouring and number 12 and 15 for highlighting and concealing. And you guys, I really like this foundation. There's only a couple of things that I will do differently next time that I wear this foundation, and that is just simply because of my normal to dry skin. For one, I will definitely make certain that I add a little bit more moisture into my skin, because over the period of time that I've been wearing this foundation, it still looks really good, but I do see a little bit of areas here on my face that look just a little bit drier than usual. But no need to worry, I've got my Tatcha Dewy Luminous Skin Mist to take care of that. So next time I wear this foundation, I will definitely prep my face using that particular product from Tatcha. And I will also color correct around my mouth area. This is a full coverage foundation, and I did not want to do any color correcting because I wanted to see just how long or how well this foundation would cover up my hyperpigmentation. And when I first started off earlier on with this wear test, my hyperpigmentation was covered, but I am starting to see it peek through a little bit more. So next time around, I will be certain to color correct around my mouth area as well. But overall, this is a beautiful foundation. It's affordable, and I definitely give it a thumbs up. So thanks so much for sticking around through this wear test. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye-bye.